One more time here, folks, on the LA Sparks 365 Network, and welcome into a two-man show of record that is called The Guys with the Petition here, folks. Good evening and welcome back in, folks, to Studio 171 in the Anaheim Studios up in Anaheim, California. Callum McClurg and Chris Romanci joining you guys here for the next 20 minutes or so here, folks, up until 10:30. And Chris, wow, we are sitting here, man, and tomorrow is May 1st. I mean, man, where has time gone since the off-season that we went through as Sparks fans, again, of the 35-day wait for the ownership group to either that when they left and then Magic coming in, the Warriors' involvement, man, and yet we're sitting here about an hour and 50 minutes or so away from midnight of it being May 1st, 2014, man. What a ride this has been, man. I mean, what do you got to say about this?
Just unbelievable what ride we've been on, and it's almost season.
Chris, I think this ride trumps anything we rode when we went to Disneyland back on December 26th last year, because this one, Chris, had more intensity and was more of a, sort of throw you back and forth sort of thing, not like Star Tours or Indiana Jones, man. This one was just, completely like, I don't know what it was, man, but it was a, just a massive roller coaster, man. Just the waves of emotion, that we were going through the whole time. I mean, between Paul and Madison leaving, the Warriors said they're going to buy the team in a three-week window within the Bay Area. Then of course, Chris, you had the petition campaign that got the 1,000+ signatures, man. Then you have the involvement of a mystery LA owner put in contact with the Lakers. Then, Chris, you hear Magic Johnson name get thrown in there. The Warriors leave, and then Magic buys the team, Chris. I mean, Chris, it was a lot of this. A lot of peaks and valleys, a lot of ups and downs and stuff like that. A little worm action going on here, man. But, Chris, am I right or wrong here about, this being a complete roller coaster that you had you got on it, man, and you couldn't get off it until you heard something about the Sparks out, man. I mean, that's what I think it was. It was a out of control, just madhouse roller coaster that you had no business being on or no business getting off.
Yep, agreed.
Just very, very, very turbulent, man. It felt like I was, on my flight home when I was coming back from Sydney, Australia in 2012, man, because we hit the jet stream, man, and we were bumping and dipping and diving and bouncing in the plane, man, because we were going back and forth, just shaking around and getting thrown around, man. That's what the off-season was, man, was you were on a out-of-control, turbulent Airbus, Boeing 747, man, and it had no direction. It was, turbulent. It was, going back and forth. You're going up and down from period to time, man, dropping elevation, because that's what the off-season was. It was, the heart attacks, the strokes, the cardiac arrests, all the diseases that the fans had on Twitter. You had Candace Parker come home here, man, and she looked very uncomfortable at her jersey retirement ceremony. You had the Warriors come in, man, and stick their nose in the business and possibly, Chris, move them to the Bay Area in a three-week window. Then you had the petition campaign, Chris. Then of course you had the 3-week window pass for the Warriors. Then of course you have Magic Johnson come in, Chris, and save the day. I mean, wow. I mean, just wow.
Yep.
By the way, folks, you guys can hit us up on Twitter during the show with the hashtag TGWTP. The hashtag, again, folks, is TGWTP to get involved here with the show. And follow us on Twitter at LA Sparks 365 on Twitter. Chris, again, we're marveling here because it's going to be midnight pretty soon, and it's bound to be May 1st, leaving us only 15 days away from the start of the regular season, Chris, in a season, man, where we didn't know. I mean, the Sparks could have been in Los Angeles. They could have been in the Bay Area. Or above all, Chris, the Sparks could have folded, man. What do you got to say for yourself?
Yep, just speechless, because we don't know what would have happened. Our Sparks could have folded or been up in the Bay Area, but we're staying in Los Angeles.
Chris, as you already know, man, I already bought my tickets to the home opener against the Mercury on my birthday on May 18th. $78 grand total for 2 seats in Section 118 of the Sparks bench. I'm kind of interested, Chris, and kind of wondering aloud is, how big will this crowd be on the home opener? I'm going to be among the two. I mean, Chris, my dad and I are going to be 2 people at least at Staples Center. But Chris, I'm feeling, a possible sellout crowd at least of 13,000 for this game at Staples Center, Chris, because of what the fan base went through. And I'm pretty sure, Chris, there's going to be a lot of people there. I mean, now I don't know as far as, a number, Chris, but Chris, I'm calling it here. I'm going to say at least 11,000 people show up at Staples Center on May 18th.
Yep, agree.
Chris, I mean, in your mind, what's the rough number you're thinking of here for attendance for the home opener on May 18th against the Mercury?
Probably a sold-out crowd, since what happened to the Sparks, the off-season, and since they're back in Los Angeles, and since the home opener between the Sparks and Phoenix Mercury, the team that knocked them out in the first round of the playoff season last season, I'm thinking of a sold-out crowd.
Chris, I'm kind of surprised, though, that ESPN2 is not covering this game on television because of what the Sparks did go through, and I'm kind of shocked, Chris, because this is not only, Chris, a conference rivalry, Chris, but this is a long-running historical rivalry that's been going on, man, for 18 years between the Sparks and the Mercury, Chris. And Chris, I'm kind of shocked, though, why not broadcast their home opener on television, Chris, because this is not only, a long-running WNBA rivalry, probably the best one in the entire league that's been going on the longest for the past 18 years, man, but also, because, Chris, had Magic Johnson, Chris, not been involved here, man, this game would not have happened if the Sparks would have folded or left or even stayed in LA, Chris. But I am a bit, though, surprised, Chris, as to why is ESPN not covering this game, though, on television, which is a bit strange.
Yep, agree. Just strange.
Chris, I am, though, also again with the crowd, Chris. Again, Chris, remember they're not there celebrating my birthday. They're there to watch the game on television. To watch the game though. So Chris, remember they're not there to celebrate my birthday. They're there to watch the game like I am as well with my dad. But Chris, in any fashion though, man. Again, Sparks home opener May 18th against the Mercury at 6 p.m. Chris, though, I'm kind of interested, though, Chris, to see who I do run into though at the game. I have pondered and talked to Vicky Russo. And another fan on Twitter the past couple of days. I'm going to post, Chris, where I'm going to be sitting after the show here. Chris, who do you think I run into other than possibly Vicky, Jack, Nick, and someone else that I talked to? Because I don't know who else might show up. I know you're not going because my dad said no to me bringing a guest, folks, which I'm still kind of upset about. But Chris will be going with me more than likely the next Sunday against the Stars. But Chris, who do you think I run into, though, at Staples Center on the 18th against Phoenix?
I don't know, maybe Floyd Mayweather.
Chris, disclaimer here, man. I am not courtside for this game, so we'll see what happens. But Floyd might show up if he buys the Clippers. We'll see what happens. But by the way, folks, again, I'm in Section 118. In case you're wondering, I'm behind the Sparks bench. People know why I'm probably back there as well. You probably know why I chose to sit there too for the $32. But Chris, again, Sparks opening up with Phoenix on May 18th. At 6 p.m. at Staples Center. Again, Chris, I can't stress enough, man, but I marvel that we're sitting here on April 30th going on to May 1st of what occurred during the offseason, man. I'm going to keep going back to this point for the next 11 minutes here, man. But again, Chris, we didn't play a major role like Magic Johnson did, but we played a big enough, just enough to keep the team in Los Angeles.
Yep, agreed. And tomorrow, it's going to be a tough test. What to wear tomorrow to work, either between the Sparks or my Angels, since what happened, so I don't even know.
Chris, you could have gone Sparks, Ducks, or Angels, one of those three, but you can make a point after the show ends. But again, Chris, May 1st, tomorrow, 15 days away from the opener, 17 days away from the home opener, at least, against the Mercury once more. But again, Chris, going back to the game, again, I'm really wondering, Chris, again, about, how big will this crowd be? Because, again, here, the off-season stuff, man, but, again, I'm saying at least 11,000, maybe sell out, at least 11K, though, I think, man. But as far as it goes, man, tonight I was planning on sort of getting prepared for the game. I mean, as far as music, looking at photos of the arena, because, folks, disclaimer here. I'll be 20 when I go to Staples Center, folks. In my lifetime, I have driven past Staples Center, and I've flown over Staples Center, but have not been in Staples Center yet until the 18th. Chris, I know you were very young, I think. I think you were very young. You told me you went to Staples Center, man. What do you recall of it, man? What kind of an arena is that place? I heard so many stories, man. It's the best arena in the world. It's this and that, man. Can you kind of articulate to the fans like myself that have not been there, if you can recall at least, what makes Staples Center the crown jewel of downtown LA?
I forgot because I was a little. Chris Manti was 15 years ago. I think it was 5 years old when I've been in Staples Center, and I forgot because you know what? It was a dang irony. It was the Lakers versus the team that's coming back, the Charlotte Hornets.
Was that a regular season game too? I think you told me. Was that right?
Yep.
Chris, I mean, what I've seen, and what I'm probably, Chris, going to be staring at for the longest time, is the Lakers championship banners. Because I told my dad today, said, Dad, look, this might be the one time we ever go to Staples Center, so you might as well embrace the Lakers history. Because, Chris, I mean, there's no denying it. I mean, the Clippers can hang all the damn selfies they want on the wall up there, but you cannot, Chris, cover up history. I mean, 31 conference titles, 32 or 41 division championships, and the 16 NBA titles plus all the retired legends, Chris. I mean, I'm going to be like staring at that for the longest time before I focus my attention to the court to watch Candace Parker play, among other things included with her as well, either before or after the game as well. But again, Chris, the banners is one thing, Chris. But I am really, Chris, looking forward to visiting the Star Plaza entryway, where the statues are of Kareem, of Magic, of Oscar De La Hoya, of Wayne Gretzky, and above all, Chris, the statue of my man, Lakers broadcaster, Chick Hearn. I'm going to be taking a photo, Chris. I will send it to you via text and also on IG, because the Hearn statue, Chris, has a chair that you can sit next to Chick like you're calling the game with them. So you know damn straight I'm going to be doing that when I first get to Staples Center. So I will send you that photo when that happens.
All right.
But again, folks, I don't know, Chris, why I have not been to Staples Center yet. My dad and I, Chris, have done the Pond in Anaheim numerous times. We've done the sports arena numerous times down here because of the soccers or concerts. But, Chris, I don't know what the deal is with him not going to Staples Center. I mean, we talked about a Kings game. We talked about a few of the things that are at Staples Center, and I said, why not a Sparks game? I mean, it can't hurt, Chris. And, again, like I said before, man, I'm really surprised, though, that he really, though, said yes to a WNBA basketball game. I still articulate and marvel about that to this day.
Yep, agreed.
But, again, folks, Sparks Mercury home opener, my birthday. You've already known that for the past weeks and months when the schedule came out. But again, LA Phoenix, Game 4, basically an extension of the postseason matchup from last year. Sunday, May 18th, on my 20th birthday, 6 p.m. Staples Center. More than likely, folks, on Time Warner Cable, Sportsnet, or it could be perhaps if they rescheduled the game, folks, on ESPN2. Chris, I got a phone call today from the Sparks front office at about 1:30 this afternoon of one of their ticket managers, Chris, trying to sell me season tickets, Chris, but he passed on some news that they've already picked one winner for the Media Day appearance. You do not say who it was, but they picked one person already. Is your heart rate going up yet, man?
Yeah, it's going up. I don't know.
Chris, I don't know what to make of it here. I've been kind of shaking a bit when I first printed out my tickets to the home opener and sort of like just stared at them for like 10 minutes. If you folks really want to know how nervous I was, folks, I can articulate, folks, my first day of broadcasting school when they told me I was co-hosting. I was literally like this the whole show because I didn't know what the hell I was doing because I was very prepared for that first night. But Chris, again, they picked one winner. They're not saying who it is, or they have not said who it is, but I got the feeling it's going to be you know who and you know who going to media day.
Yeah, it is. I know it is because they planned a media day for two lucky winners. They did some on those two media days, two lucky winners for some reason.
But again, folks, you're running out of time, so enter today at lasparks.com, and you could possibly be one of the two lucky winners to be attending Sparks Media Day. You could be going with Chris and myself, perhaps. We'll see what occurs, though, folks. But again, lasparks.com, and enter to win your two all-inclusive passes to Sparks Media Day at LA Southwest College. And again, folks, a reminder, but next Saturday is the only Sparks home preseason game. Next Saturday, May 10th, 2 p.m., Lincoln Center at LA Southwest College versus the Chinese Olympic women's basketball team. Get your tickets today, folks, by calling 877-44-SPARKS or online at lasparks.com. So again, Chris, we've been talking about the home opener more so because, again, I bought my tickets for the game today. They're on my refrigerator as well, so I'm probably going to pull them back in here and just stare at them again for another hour or so before I go to sleep on. But, Chris, again, you know, is... like I said on IG tonight, man, is, you know, the hype factor is through the roof. I mean, because now that I have my tickets in hand, I don't have to worry about, you know, anything. You know, I'm pretty much Chris just, road crew, just cruising now and waiting until May 18th hits, and we go to the game and stuff like that. So I think I'm a bit over-prepared, Chris. I got my directions already, my parking map, but I'm going to go above and beyond and get, the concessions, what food's nearby, Chris, because I will say this, though, Chris, again, my mom and dad, aren't big fans of downtown LA, but, I said, hey, I know the area a little bit because of the surrounding area. I know what's around downtown LA and Staples Center, Chris. I mean, Chris, they've done a great job. I mean, we know about what has happened in LA in the past, Chris, when the riots with, either the Rodney King riots back in the 90s or the Lakers riots that they won the championships in the 2000s, Chris. But you know what? They've done a great job, Chris, of sort of revitalizing the downtown LA image and the downtown LA community with Staples Center, the Nokia Theater, the Convention Center, Chris, and above all, two-man with LA Live, which I believe, Chris, is basically the Times Square. I believe, Chris, is the Times Square of the West Coast because it's just so well known. So many great places, Chris, to go shop and eat and hang out and stuff like that. Bummer though, Chris, a big bummer though. They closed down the ESPN zone there at LA Live, which is where we were going to be planning on going if we were going to the game on May 25th against the Stars, Chris. But that's a big buzzkill. But I mean, Chris, Chris, we know about LA and its reputation. Again, we know about immediately the positives. I think, Chris, is the beach, the weather, the fame, the Hollywood celebrities, Chris, where people think of it as, gang activity and stuff like that, Chris. But Chris, we see it a lot, though. I mean, down here in San Diego, Chris, when they opened up Petco Park in downtown San Diego here, that pretty much, Chris, cleaned up downtown a little bit here, Chris. So in my mind, Chris, when they open up a new arena like this, and they have all the teams, the Lakers, the Clippers, Sparks, and all that stuff, man, I mean, it's a big boost when you say, it's a big boost to the city when you have your arena like Staples Center, Chris, like the crown jewel it is, that's able to drive in all that revenue to the city. And Chris, not only that, but it helps sort of clean up LA's, kind of rugged reputation, you can kind of say. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, Chris, in Anaheim, at least, man, where they're opening up the new, I believe they're opening up the new Transit Authority station, I want to say behind Angel Stadium, I think, Chris, that that's going to help a lot of people around that area. They're getting in and out of the pond or the stadium, Chris. So, I mean, whatever happens up there with the Eagles, man. So, in my view, man, venues always seem to help out in some fashion with revitalizing the inner city community, Chris. We know about either homelessness or crime, and Chris, in my view, all that sort of helps out because you have the revenue still, Chris, coming in, and it's a nice place to go and visit.
Yeah, agree.
But again, folks, one more time to keep beating down the dead horse. But again, folks, Sparks and the Mercury, get ready to go crazy, folks. When the Sparks take on the Mercury, to look for payback against Taurasi and Griner in the first game since the Game 3 heartbreaking loss last year. Tickets, folks, are on sale and begin as low as $15. Get them today at lasparks.com, 877-44-SPARKS, or online at AXS, that is access.com. But again, folks, we are running out of time here for the show. The last few seconds here. See what happens with the clock here. But, folks, our 20 minutes of togetherness with you guys is up, and that is the end of the evening here for the LA Sparks 365 Network, folks. We will rejoin you folks tomorrow night back here at 9 p.m. again with more training camp coverage and more talk about the big day on May 18th, and also May 16th coming up, folks, with the Sparks opening up in Seattle, Washington. Chris, thanks for all the help like normal, man. We will chat with you tomorrow night back here on the network. And again, thanks for hanging out and stay cool, my friend.
All right, you too.
All right, folks. We'll see you folks tomorrow night. But until then, have a safe night. Drive home safely. Thank you all for coming, folks. Good night now. This is the LA Sparks 365 Network. Bye-bye.